rotate your circle about either x-axis or y-axis, है ना? Circle. Now let me draw it. So this is your circle. When you rotate about either x-axis or about y-axis, है ना? Y-axis को about rotate करोगे, x-axis को about, you are going to get sphere from both the sides. Okay. So now that means the equation for integration we will be using is equation of a circle. All right. So let us assume that we are rotating it about y-axis, x-axis. Y-axis को about लिए पनि हुन्छ. There is some, you know what changes you are going to get accordingly. And so volume and surface area. So yes, first of all, tell me, what will be your limits of integration in this case? What is going to be your limits of integration here?
Minus a to a.
Yes, you can take minus a to a, but do you remember that I always
2 times 0
yes,
to a.
yes, very good, 2 times. Okay, because 0 देखि a को curve बनेको यति portion भयो first quadrant को, हैन? Now you imagine that you are rotating this portion. You are rotating this portion about x-axis by 360 degree. So तिमीले यसलाई 360 degree ले rotate गरिसकेपछि how much of sphere you are going to get?
Hemisphere also.
Yes, definitely half of the sphere, isn't it? So because 0 to a, rotation from 0 to a gives you half of the sphere. So when you take limits of integration minus a to a, you have to multiply your resultant volume. Okay, from 0 to a, 0 to a लियो भने resultant volume like 2 ले multiply गर्नु पर्यो. If you take from minus a to a, then no need of multiplication because minus a देखि a सम्मको हामीले total curve assume गर्यो भने this is going to give you your whole of the sphere. यो माथिको पोर्सनले तिमीको टोटल स्फेयर दिन्छ. So you need not to multiply it by 2 जुन अहिलेसम्म हामीले के गरिरहेको थियो. When you were talking about length of the curve or when you were talking about area under the curve, you in that situation, if your limits of integration was 0 to a, then you must have multiplied by 4, isn't it? Because you were getting 1/4 of the area. But in this case, this scenario is slightly different from rest of the limits of integration and multiplication part. Okay, यो कुरा चाहिँ तिमीले ख्याल राख्नुपर्छ. So yeah, we have decided limits of integration. बाकी त formula मात्रै apply गर्ने त हो नि, हैन? So main thing is to decide your limits of integration carefully. Okay, so you have decided your limits of integration as 0 to a. Pi y square dx will give you your volume. Okay, volume दिन्छ त y square को ठाउँमा कसले रिप्लेस गर्दैन, simply a square minus x square and multiply your result by 2. Okay, multiply your result by 2. Y square लाई a square minus x square राखेर, and we have to next find out surface area also. So you can look at this surface area को formula हाम्रो यो भयो. यसमा same, in the same way you will apply this formula. dy by dx हमले माथि calculate गरिसकेछ. dy by dx is minus x by y. Okay, minus x by y. So let me minimize this screen and all of you just quickly check surface area. एकदम एक किसिममा answer answer. Just see that you are going to get 4 pi a square. Just quickly go through this, integrate this. यो भने अब नमागे के पनि टाढा आछ किन छोटो प्रब्लम भएको छ रे Have you got the result?
Yes, ma'am.
सजिलो एकैछिनमा आउँछ है तिमीको कन्स्टेन्ट मात्रै बाँकी रहन्छ यु सी y देखि y क्यान्सल आउट हुन्छ यु विल गेट रुट अन्डर a स्क्वायर x स्क्वायर प्लस y स्क्वायर विच इज a स्क्वायर हैन सजिलो छ
हजुर हजुर
सिमिलरली तिमीको भोल्युम यु मस्ट हेभ चेक फर भोल्युम अल्सो भोल्युम पनि एकदम सजिलरी आउँछ ओके लेट मी आस्क one question r equals to a1 plus cos theta who will tell me let me see Ashwin? Ashwin?
Yes, ma'am.
This equation belongs to which curve?
Cardioid.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So cardioid को केसमा हामीले limits of integration के लिइरहेको थियो जब हामीले एरिया को कुरा गरिरहेको थियो जब हामीले लेन्थ को कुरा गरिरहेको थियो कार्डोइड को केसमा हाम्रो लिमिट्स अफ इंटीग्रेशन के हुन्छ minimum possible limits of integration. Do you remember? Let me draw this cardioid. 1 plus y bani. Sorry.
0 to pi. Okay.
Very good. 0 to pi. Okay. Don't make guess. Be confident about your answer. Eh?
Okay, ma'am.
0 to pi. So 0 to pi. How can you say that? Because from 0 to pi, you have totally different r. R को value totally for example, it's just repetition, symmetry about initial line, isn't it? Next, suppose you are rotating this cardioid. अब यहाँ हाम्रो यो question मा चाहिँ 1 minus छ कि 1 plus छ. Let's go through it. Which cardioid is this? 1 plus. Okay, the cardioid which we are talking about. So when you rotate your cardioid, now just all of you imagine, use your imagination scale. It's very, very interesting. तिमीको जुन कार्डोइड हुन्छ जब तिमीको 360 डिग्रीले रोटेट गर्छ अबाउट इनिशियल लाइन भनेको एक्स एक्सिस what are you going to get when you rotate this curve? Okay, about initial line, what are you going to get?
Apple जस्तो के हुन्छ होला
Yes, good imagination. This one हैन यस्तो खालको है यो चाहिँ complete cardioid बाट बनेको solid surface भयो this first one and the second one you can say is the slice बीचबाट काट्यो भने कस्तो बन्छ त्यो हेर्यो भने you will get this हैन clear now you have to find out what is it asking for it's asking for volume okay volume of this solid okay of this solid so let's find out its volume here I've already mentioned that we will same formula as we have done for Cartesian how going to polar curves you know that what is the relation between polar and Cartesian curve so we will be using that relation only so what is your y suppose तिम्रो पोल कर्व त तिमीले y भ्यालु कार्टेशियन मा y x र y मा कन्भर्ट गर्नु पर्यो भने व्हाट इज द रिलेसन बिट्विन y एन्ड r थीटा क्विकली
r sin theta
yes exactly r sin theta okay so simply replace your y by r sin theta and what is your r your r is a1 plus cos theta so keep this in mind your every term everything must be converted to theta terms हाम्रो integration theta को term मा हुनु पर्छ so त्यही भएर तिमीको function पनि theta को term मा तिमीको everything तिमीको d theta आउनु पर्यो यहाँ पनि d theta आउनु पर्यो so how are we going to convert this dx to d theta can you now tell me dx को ठाउँमा कसरी d theta लिएर आउने quickly
x is equals to r cos theta गरेर त्यसलाई डिफरेन्शिएट गरेर लिएर आउने
yes exactly हैन So that's what you are going to do. So you can see here, you can go through this process and your limits of integration. Limits of integration हमने की decide करे 0 to pi, isn't it? 0 to pi गरे बने, do you have to multiply it by some constant? Do you have to multiply it by some constant? 2 ले multiply गर्नु पर्ला कति volume आउँछ यो 0 to pi गरेपछि how much of the volume you are going to get? Desired volume सँग
पर्दैन होला म्याम
पर्दैन
पर्दैन, yes of course, no half multiplication. 0 to pi ले you can see तिमीको 0 to pi limits of integration लियो भने त तिमीको यो सबैको सबै solid surface आउँछ हैन यो 0 to pi भनेको यो तिमीको upper को सबै curve हैन upper portion. So when you rotate it you will get whole of this apple. So no need of multiplication here. Okay. So now you can easily apply this formula. Integration part is easy, so I will be leaving it for you. So x भनेको r cos theta. X is r cos theta. So in place of r, you will write down a 1 plus cos theta and then differentiate. Differentiation गरेपछि तिमीको यो result आयो. Okay. So put it here. Put your dx here. Put your y here. So y को result यहाँबाट राख्दिने, dx को result यहाँबाट राख्दिने, and substitute it, integrate it with respect to theta, and you will get the result. Okay. So यो त केस भयो जब तिमीलाई formula याद गर्न मन लागेन. When you was willing to use the same Cartesian formula, but it's still if you want to use your formula for polar curves, एउटा extra formula छ. Which is will be you can use for if you are looking for volume of solid of revolution of r equals to f of theta about initial line. Okay, so when can you use this formula? When you are looking for volume of solid for polar curves about initial line. Okay, तिमीको rotation cos को about हुनु पर्यो, initial line को about. Okay, initial line, I have all of you understand what is initial line. So 0 to pi is your limits of integration. R को ठाउँमा a cube 1 plus cos theta cube and then integrated, very easy integration हैन. तिमीले यो formula याद गर्यो भने you have to skip this step. यो तिमीको conversion को step मात्र reduce हुने भयो. Otherwise it's not going to take too much of time here also. तिमीको integration यसमा पनि सजिलै नै हुन्छ. Okay, so it's your choice. Next is surface area. अब surface area, Cartesian को surface area को formula तिम्रो polar curves लाई कसरी use गर्ने? Let's have a look at it. So we are talking about similar case. Cardioid facing another side. I'll say 1 plus cos theta. So the cardioid will be facing other side. I mean, I'm talking about this cardioid. I would say 0 ma minimum, pi ma maximum. अब यसमा चाहिँ surface area चाहियो. So surface area को लागि we will be using same formula 2 pi y ds हैन. Limit of integration same हुने भयो 0 देखि pi because we are talking about same curve and no need of multiplication. तर y को ठाउँमा you all know हैन, भर्खर हेरे हामीले y को ठाउँमा के राख्दिने r sin theta. त ds को ठाउँमा के राख्दिने? Polar curve को ds भनेको के हो? What is your polar curve ds? Is under root r square plus dr by d theta square into d theta. That's it. Okay. So you always must accordingly r को values राख दिने. Simplify this and you will get your result. Any doubt? कसरी use गर्ने? Any doubt to anyone? I assume there is no doubt. So let's look at next. Yes, who is going to tell me about this? Anil Chaudhary.
Yes, ma'am.
Anil Chaudhary, combination of Anil Ambani and Vinod Chaudhary.
No, ma'am.
I mean, okay. Yes, x equals to a theta plus cos theta and y equals to a1 plus cos theta. This equation belongs to cycloid. Clearly you can see, in a cycloid. Is it facing upward or downward?
Upward, ma'am.
Upward. All right. Passing through origin or not?
Origin 0. No, ma'am.
Not passing through origin. Your second point is correct that it's not passing through origin, but first point you said it's facing upward is incorrect. Hamro, your positives, honey, we have same sign, so your cycloid will be facing downward. Okay, not passing through origin, facing downward. So this is going to be your cycloid we are talking about. Okay. So what does question says? Find out its surface area of solid generated by revolving the cycloid about its base. Base ko about. Okay, so can you imagine? Can you tell me what sort of solid surface you are going to get when you rotate this about base?
Oval type. Egg.
Anybody else? Ajay?
Oval type ko.
Oval type ko, yes. मैले त रग्बी बल जस्तो पनि देख्छु हैन, ओभल यसरी भन्न मिले हैन, दिस इज योर शेप, यस्तो खालको रग्बी बल जस्तो ओभल यु क्यान से, यस, समथिङ लाइक दिस, इलिप्सोइडल जस्तो हैन.
Yes.
Now, okay, let me keep it safe. We need to talk about its limits of integration. अब हाम्रो limits of integration को कुरा गर्नु पर्यो. Surface area को formula कसरी apply गर्ने? Let's look at that and then, yes, this is your formula 2 pi y ds. ds भनेको parametric को ds राख्दिने अनि y भनेको, can you tell me what will be your y in this case? This is a parametric curve. What will be your y in this case? It's not in polar equation. Yes. What will be your y? You can clearly see that.
The a1 plus cos theta हुन्छ होला.
Exactly. a1 plus cos theta. That's it. यहाँ x भइदियो भने a theta plus cos theta. Okay, so your x and y is already given in theta form. Okay, so you have to use that relation only. So y को ठाउँमा you will replace it by a1 plus cos theta. And what is a ds? Let me show you. What will be your limits of integration before we decide ds? Your case, keep this in mind that your limits of integration must be in terms of theta. So if you remember its derivation part, हमले जब यसलाई derive गरे थे तो केसको if you remember तिमीको theta values के थियो, then you should be able to answer. Yes, what will be your limits of integration here? Quickly. What was your theta here, here, and here? 1, 2, and 3. Position number 1, 2, and 3 ma ke thiyo timako theta values?
Minus a pi 2a.
Oh no, that's not your theta.
Minus pi 0 pi.
Very good. That's your theta. Your theta value was minus pi. Theta equals 0. Theta equals pi. Timle jun a pi minus a pi 2a bane, that is value of x and y. Here we are looking for only theta. Okay. X ra y ko limits of integration x ra y na line. Theta ko terms ma line. Okay. So your limits of integration will be yes. What will be your limits of integration? 0 to pi. Okay, you will take 0 to pi. 0 to pi गर्यो भने के multiplication गर्नु पर्छ? Do we?
Into 2 parts होला.
Yes, very good. Into 2. Because 0 to pi is going to give you half of the solid, isn't it? 0 देखि pi भनेको you half of the upper portion, so you will get half of the solid form. So you have to multiply by 2 in this case. So keep this in mind. So y को ठाउँमा a 1 plus cos theta भयो ds will be replaced by root under dx over d theta square plus dy by d theta square into d theta. So now you have to simply evaluate dx over d theta, dy by d theta, put it here, integrate and get the result. That's it. Okay. One last question. Iti garna sath hamro volume and surface area is complete, and then we are left with one last topic. So do we have any extra class after this? Have we decided for any extra class?
हजुर म्याम छैन म्याम हामीले त
छैन है. Okay, we will see to it. मैले मेरो
कति क्लास चाहियो होला र म्याम
अब एउटा दुईटा क्लास बढी हुन्छ, एउटा क्लास थोरै हुन्छ. सो एक दिन यसो गरौँला, दिउँसोतिर क्लास गरौँला, अनि त्यो दिउँसोतिर गर्दा फेरि चाहिँ कम्प्लिट हुने गरी गरौँला. मेरो आज र भोलि मैले एसेसमेन्ट लिनुपर्छ, अनि त्यसपछि हेरौँला मेरो मिल्यो भने मैले असाइन गराएको छैन कुनै क्लासमा भने वी विल वेडनेसडेको क्लास पनि फिक्स भइसकेको छ इलेक्ट्रिकलमा. थर्सडे फ्राइडे हुन सक्छ मेरो खाली, तिमीको मिल्छ भने
थर्सडेतिर गरौँ न म्याम. थर्सडेतिर नि हाम्रो खाली मिल्छ सायद.
हेर्नुपर्छ मेरो के छ. थर्सडे हेर्नुपर्छ. हेरौँला नि, म पोस्ट गरिरहेको हुन्छु हैन. Okay. So an arc of a parabola is bounded at both ends by the lattice rectum of length 4a. So के लिने equation of parabola if equation says कि parabola is bounded at both ends by the lattice rectum of length 4a. यो condition को लागि हाम्रो parabola को equation के हुने भयो? यो condition satisfy गर्ने parabola को equation quickly tell me.
सिम्पलै हो नि, के रे y equals to 4x, y square equals to 4ax.
Yes, exactly, है ना. 4ax or
के दुबै भन्नु भयो.
Yes, we have two choices, but I'm going to prefer this right now. Why? Because यो equation लियो भने हाम्रो scenario total different भएर आउँछ. तिमीले यो equation लियो भने नयाँ scenario आउँछ, त त्यसको लागि फर्मुला तिमीले आफै generate गर्नुपर्छ, आफै तिमीले दिमाग लगाउनु पर्छ. So I want you to pay little bit of stress to your brain. That's why I'm using this equation. Okay, so let's use this equation for our, and we are used to of this equation a lot. Okay, so let's go for it. And what does question says here? It's your scenario is totally different. Here your volume is generated when this arc of parabola is rotated about its lattice rectum. Lattice rectum ko about rotation bhairach. Okay, about lattice rectum. So keeping these things in mind. Okay, so let me just quickly draw your parabola, and yes, tell me what will happen when this parabola is going to rotate about its lattice rectum x equals to a. Can you tell me what sort of solid surface we are going to get? यसलाई हामीले rotation गर्यो about this line.
एक टाइप को बन्छ.
A kind, something like that, I know. Something like that, oval type को या फेरि कतिको rounds, हैन. यो हाम्रो यस्तो छ नि, स्मूथ छ प्याराबोला हैन, something like this. यसलाई क्लोज गर्दै भने एउटा राउन्ड टेबल जस्ट, राउन्ड टेबल भन्ने कि राउन्ड चेयर जस्तो, something seat kind of, something like that also, something like that. Okay, so you can imagine यो तिमीको प्याराबोला भयो, यसको half of the solid formed will be looking like this, हैन. So it's like complete garnakula. I have closed this portion. I have closed this portion. So now you can imagine what sort of solid surface you are going to get. Okay. So एकदम imagination skill एकदम राम्रो हुनु पर्यो. Yes. Okay, यो त हाम्रो कर्व solid को कुरा भयो. अब हामीले के डिसाइड गर्नु पर्यो? Your limits of sorry, your formula for integration. हाम्रो त यहाँ formula आफै create गर्नु पर्छ. All right. So what will be your formula? What formula you are going to use here? Can you tell me? You have to keep this in mind. Just let me give you few hints. Your line of rotation is x equals a. Okay, so that means you are rotating about line which is parallel to y-axis. Your rotation is parallel to y-axis. That means your integration will be in terms of y. So keep this in mind. Keep this in mind and tell me about its formula. What will be your formula? Volume भन्ने छ हैन, volume भन्न साथ pi r square h लगाउनु पर्यो. Yes, pi r square h बाट r र h आफै calculate गरौँ, find out गरौँ. What will be your r? What will be your h? Definitely integration. Come on.
हो त्यो r को ठाउँमा त x भयो हैन.
X भयो.
अनि h को ठाउँमा के रे कताबाट गर्ने भने x minus
dy.
Very good, dy. H को ठाउँमा त dy भयो नि. हाम्रो rotation is parallel to y-axis. y-axis सँग parallel छ. जब x-axis सँग parallel हुन्थ्यो लाइन तब हामीले dx नै लिए थियो. त्यसमा रेडियस मात्रै फरक गरे थियो. यहाँ पनि हाम्रो रेडियस के हुने भयो? यहाँ चाहिँ हाम्रो रेडियस के हुने भयो? रेडियस भनेको
x minus a हुन्छ नि. एकछिन म अलि कन्फ्युज भयो.
Okay, let me show you. Now let me zoom this. Let me zoom this parabola, and here your radius will be, if we talk about this is infinitely small portion. So this portion is dy हैन, small change in y. त्यही भएर हामीले यहाँ h को ठाउँमा dy लियो हैन. So you have to talk about this length now. यो length को कुरा गरौँ. Let's try to find out this length.
a minus x.
Very good. This is a minus x. Yo line भनेको हाम्रो a हैन. This line is a. Okay, and this from here till here, how much is your distance? From here till here, it's a. यहाँ देखि यहाँसम्म a छ. अनि यहाँदेखि यहाँसम्म तिमीहरूको x छ हैन. This is your x. So how much is this length? How much is this length? This length, your length तिमीहरूको के भयो? a minus x, isn't it? a minus x. अब clear छ, सबैलाई clear छ? Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So यो clear हुन साथ त हाम्रो सबै कुरा simplify भइहाल्यो. Now decide your limits of integration also. Meanwhile, decide your limits of integration also. So r will be replaced by a minus x square. अनि h को ठाउँमा dy. Limits of integration, tell me. You don't have to think so much.
0 to 2a.
You have dy. Very good. 0 to 2a हैन. You are integrating with respect to y. तो तिमीको y को limits of integration मात्रै हेर्ने त हो नि हैन. So what will be your limits of integration? Let's start from 0, 0. 0 देखि 2a सम्म लियौं हैन. Minimum possible limits of integration. So when you take 0 to 2a, what will be your multiplication part?
2 times.
Exactly, 2 times. So you have got it. This is your formula. 0 to 2a. Okay, अर्को क्लासको सीआर को फोन आइसक्यो. तिमीको पनि सर वेट गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ होला. जस्ट हामीले डिसाइड गरिसक्यो हैन. So we have completed everything. 0 to 2a will be your limits of integration pi a minus x square dy and multiply by 2. So k then x will be, what is your x? Your x is y square over 2a. Sorry, yes. Your relation but x replace then you will get y to the power something, and just evaluate integration part is easy. Integration of Sozilla, sir. So I'm leaving it here. Any doubt? Any doubt, class?
Final answer.
Okay. So that's the end of the class. So let's target to complete our course this week.